Welcome to the Gritcast, where we get into the nitty-gritty of all things hockey. From the East to the West Coast. Here are your hosts, Matt Pierce, Nikosh Ganguly, and Darius Dominguez.
We're back today, another week closer to Christmas. It's been last week we talked. None of us had our shopping done. Are you guys any closer to being done this week?
No.
Matt still has not started.
No, I really haven't.
We're going to record next
either.
week, and Matt's going to be like, I still have not started. I am, once again, here to tell you I have not started. No, I'm close. I got maybe 2 people left, so we're good.
Word?
Yeah.
I mean, usually, when I do my Christmas shopping, my sister buys everything for everyone in the family, and she's like, Nick, just give me half the money, and I'm like, sure, bet.
Oh,
So then when Christmas comes, I don't know what anybody got, so I'm just as surprised, and the gift says it's from me. So it's a lot of fun, but
from Nick, and they're like, "Wow, thanks so much," and you're like,
I don't know what you got.
Yeah, like...
I don't know what you got, but wear it up. Last week, not too eventful. I mean, for me personally, I'm finally done my friggin' school semester, so that's exciting. I'm back home in Mississauga. If you can tell by my background, that changes basically every week. It's a lot of fun. But it's good to be back home, and the Leafs are also being good at hockey, so it's a good segue there for me. But before we get into that, something that does actually impact the Leafs, Gary Bettman had a press conference at the Board of Governors meeting. A lot of stuff came out of that, but I think the biggest one is, guys, I gotta say, Gary Bettman usually doesn't do this to us, but he lied. He's not known to lie to us, the fans and the owners. So the cap is going up $1 million, I believe is what they said, after they said, "Oh, our revenue is so good this year. It's going to go up 4." And every team with a lot of good players was very hyped because it means they can get more good players. And it's amazing how when teams have good players, the game is more watchable, Gary. Pretty interesting. And then he also said nobody wants to have a play-in tournament, which is interesting to me because wouldn't you want more high-intense games for revenue? Does he really want to make money? I'm not too sure, gentlemen, but what do I know? I'm just a dude on a podcast. Guys, what do you think of Gary Bettman's lying to us? Matt, I'll go to you first, because I know you probably have an interesting take on this.
He was salary capping on the future of the salary cap.
Dude, that is awful. Oh my God. Okay, continue.
No one said they're ever good, but I think it was something to do with the escrow not being paid in full from the COVID year. Nothing too much to add on that. I know the Oilers could use some more cap space, but with the genius that is Ken Holland, that's going to have to wait.
Word.
That's all I got.
Word.
Yeah, Gary Bettman is a lie enjoyer. He enjoys to lie to us.
I was talking to some of my friends, he's the curator of the "me when I lie" meme.
Yeah, it should just be a picture of Gary Bettman now, looking that look he does. Y'all know what I mean.
You know how there was when LeBron was lying, it was just a picture of LeBron whenever someone lied.
Yeah.
They got to do that with Gary Bettman. This guy's such a liar.
That LeBron thing, by the way, is a top tier meme. I'm just
saying.
That
was so good.
Yeah,
so
really
good.
Funny because he just does that shit all the time. He's just that one interview where the soccer player, really famous in Europe or whatever, is interviewing him. He's like, "Do you have any idea who I am?" And he's like, "Yeah, for sure. I'll watch your games and shit." It's like, no, you haven't, bro. Just say that. It's just so funny. But anyway, it's only going up $1 million. This hurts the league. This league stinks. First of all, this league stinks in general.
Word.
But it hurts the contenders more than obviously the lower end teams, and that just makes things worse, the product worse, because you got teams like the Leafs who are they were expecting the cap, if COVID never happened, the cap should have been way higher right now. They'd be fine, the contracts would make sense, but just the way it goes, I guess. You can't predict something like COVID, but still, I don't know, this league stinks, man. Why can't we just be cool?
Where is the money going? Where is it going?
Yeah, is it evaporating? I know they had to pay the thing back, but what is I don't get it. Like, it's not adding up. They have the new TV deal that came into effect at the start of last year, I think. Like, what's going on here?
I think it was like an
digital
escrow
advertisements. Digital advertisements, fellas.
That's right.
Very
Everyone
bad.
likes them. What was the quote? Everyone likes them and everybody asks for them.
Yep, or something like that. When like,
Yes.
no, guys, no one likes them. Not a single person likes them. No one likes
See,
them.
and I bet on sports. Disclaimer: don't do it if you can't handle it. But with the ads, it's so infuriating. Like in between the play, and I was watching Red Wings Wild last night, and in the middle of play, the commentator's like, "Yeah, right now, you know." You can look at the DraftKings scoreboard. Detroit's plus 175 money line. It's like, just call the game.
Yeah.
I don't care about the odds at that current minute.
Well, betting has taken over sports and how we
Almost a
report on
little
it.
too much.
Yeah, and it was like right when they legalized it in Ontario, it was like right away, everything is betting. Literally everything. And as a non-better, it's annoying to me. And I guess even as a bettor, it gets annoying because you know, as you said there, yeah, it's like shut up, man.
Like I think in some states, especially like UFC, like it's been there, right? And but UFC is different. Like it's a fight, you know, it could end in like 3 rounds, and then these guys won't fight again for like a year or whatever. But like with hockey, every night when they're like, oh yeah, the Leafs are like whatever the odds are, it's like, yo, shut up, you know, like I don't care. Talk to me about like what the Leafs need to do to win this game. You know what I mean? Like that'll get people interested.
Yeah. What the Leafs need to do? They'll be like, oh yeah, you know, just push the pucks in deep. I'm like, shut up, man.
No, but like a tactical standpoint, I guess, right?
No, I agree with you.
I was actually watching to go to this point. I was watching, for some reason it popped up. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, he was going off on Skip Bayless because he's like, you guys don't actually talk about anything. You guys just like, man, this guy's better. And he started talking like strategy with them, and I was like, this is so interesting because I don't know any of this shit, right? So like they should do that more instead of like, well, the Leafs look like they're gonna win tonight because blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Or it's like, guys, I don't know, man. I don't think Nylander. I don't think they'll be able to afford him. I'm like, bro, guy's on pace for 40 goals, 50, 40, whatever. Talk about how he's scoring those goals. You know what I mean?
And
where's he shooting
he's
from?
not a free agent for another year and a half.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about that much later. Like, I don't understand.
It's brutal. But we'll segue here to the Leafs. They beat Calgary on Saturday in an overtime win. Daryl Sutter said, when you come to Toronto, you expect this. Shut the fuck up. And then Marner continues his point streak there. He gets assist and he gets the overtime winner. Nylander had a 5-point night, which was pretty damn cool. I think Matthews had 3 points. Then Anaheim comes to town and they absolutely obliterate them. Pontus Holmberg, he's low-key that guy. Like low-key, he's that guy. He's kind of nice. He's been I was talking about this with some of my friends earlier. When the Leafs at the beginning of the season, when they had like just like dudes in the bottom 6, you know, like no identity, no role. And I tweeted about this after the Ducks game. I think it's like the Leafs are playing a lot better because their 3rd and 4th line guys, they're settled. You know what I mean? They're all in the roles. They know where they're playing every night. You had like Malgin on a different line every night, Cal Yarncroke on a different line every night, Kerfoot on a different line. Like I think they finally found their groove, and there was a lot of change. Like they lost a few bottom 6 guys, Andre Kasha, Ilya Mikheyev. They brought in some new guys like Simmons isn't playing anymore, Clifford isn't playing anymore. They brought in like David Camp's playing a higher role. You have Zach Aston-Reese playing, obviously Pontus Holmberg. So when you play those guys, and they finally settle into the role, you know, it's almost like, you know, the team starts to play better. So it's good to see that. And also the big 4, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, they've all been clicking. That like rarely happens where they're all good at the same time. And it's amazing. Like when your good players play good, you win games. And Ilya Samsonov and Matt Murray also been very good. But tonight, the Leafs are in New York. Thank God they're not playing here in Toronto because the storm is pretty bad. I swear if you walk outside, you might get a concussion. So stay safe out there. Although New York, it's probably pretty bad too, considering, you know, they're not that far. This is a totally side conversation. I love when like NBA players like take there's so many times where like NBA teams will come to Toronto and the superstars will like sit the game out because they don't want to come to Canada, but then they'll go play in New York, and I'm like, it's the same thing, you know, the weather's like the same.
There's
also
Boston, like
yeah,
you know, like Milwaukee, like
yeah, I don't know,
odd.
man. It's
odd.
weird, but So they're in New York tonight, facing the Rangers, who have been pretty decent as of late. So my question for you guys is, Matt, I'm gonna let you go first because you haven't been able to talk too much just yet. Will Mitch Marner continue his point streak tonight?
Yes. I don't know if it'll be a goal or an assist. It'll probably be like a power play point. But yes, he continues the streak tonight. I think, hot take, it'll go past the Christmas break.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
okay.
Yeah.
So like Patrick Kane level, like remember when
Pretty
he won
much,
30?
yeah.
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 Okay. Word. Darius.
He will. I think it'll be an assist. I don't know if he's going to score tonight, but he's going to do it because he's hot right now. It was close on that game against San Jose, I think, but the rest of the games he's like pretty convincingly gotten
It's
his
like
points.
in the beginning of the games when he gets his point.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
But especially, I think people on Saturday were like, "Oh, does it continue against Calgary?" Like probably, and it was like the first goal. I think he got an assist. It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
you know, like that's it for the night. You can just go home now. Like we're good. Like we're good. You can
Take the
lose.
night off.
But no, I think he does it, and I think they beat the Rangers too. Rangers have been good, but the Leafs they're playing really well. So when they're in that rhythm, I think they're gonna win too. So
Yeah, the Leafs are almost unstoppable. It looks like at this point. They're finding ways to win, whether it be blowouts or close overtime. I mean, not necessarily close overtime games because they haven't been that good in overtime. But like,
no. But close
like,
games.
they've been winning the 1-goal, 2-goal games. They've been killing almost every team. Like you can give a lot of that to Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov, who have just been like unbelievable. Like this is unheard of goaltending, especially for the Leafs in like the past 2 decades. Like, when have we had
Samsonov is Samsung. I almost said Samsonov is like a 937. I think
Yeah,
that's crazy.
and I don't think he's lost at home. Yeah,
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
Back-to-back shutouts. I know Anaheim is one of them, but
Yeah.
like whatever. But still, like that's great.
yeah, no, it's good. And I think Matt Murray is getting the net tonight. Been solid. He had a tough game against Calgary. A couple ones where I'm like, dude, you gotta save that. But
I think Calgary. The thing with Calgary too is like I think they're a good team, but they're just getting some bad results. If that makes sense. I don't think they're truly
No, I
like
agree
a
with
crap team. So like the fact that they let in 4, I think they won 5-4.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean. But they won the game. Like you're not gonna get that goaltending every time, but as long as he doesn't let that 5th goal in, you win the game. You got a team. So
exactly.
they're playing. They're rolling.
Yeah. So Murray's in it tonight against the Rangers. I think Samsonov is getting to start against
Washington.
I don't know,
His former
Washington
team.
on Saturday. Yeah, his former team makes sense. But yeah, it should be a good game. And let's hope. I mean, I'm gonna hope the Leafs win, and also Marner's point streak continues. But Matt, it is time for your weekly Oilers segment. What's going on with Edmonton the past week, bro?
There was a mini series there of Minnesota, lost twice against them and won once. And it just kind of shows that the Oilers aren't really built to win like the rough 2-1 games, because you can turn what was the saying? It was some sort of saying of like you can't turn like a Ferrari into a dump truck, but a dump truck is something. But
Oh yeah,
play.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, no, I had the quote on the top of my head. It makes me look stupid now, as always. But they play St. Louis tonight in the reverse retros, the second time wearing those. Yeah, like I said, beat Nashville, Draisaitl, as always, terrorized them. I feel like I keep going on about the Oilers, but I'm going to ask you guys, do you have any questions about the Oilers? How they're built, how they're
Yes.
not very well built, but fire away with some questions.
Nick, do you have any? Because I'll go.
I'll give one because you seem pretty adamant. It might be a longer question.
Mhm.
What do you think of Jim Matheson and Klim Kostin's exchange today?
I did see this.
Klim Kostin shot up into my top 5 Oilers. I can't remember the last time like a guy other than like Draisaitl fired back at the writers, and it's like, thanks, Klim, thank you.
Word.
I think Matthew's been doing that in Toronto, where he just like doesn't give a shit and you like fire back at people sometimes. I think people have just gotten used to it, and I think that's why everyone like obviously he's a great player, but everyone's like, I love this guy, like he doesn't take shit. But Matt, like your opinion too, like your personal opinion, but also the consensus. Like, how do you feel? Like McDavid's 25, and looks like they're probably gonna sputter into the playoffs again. Like they might, do what they did last year. But it doesn't even look like they're having him seriously. And him and Draisaitl, because Draisaitl only makes $9 million. You can build such a good team.
8.5.
Oh, see, that's crazy. Like you can build such a good team around those guys, obviously, because they're both of them easily top 5, I think, in the league. Like you can, I don't know if you can argue against that. But they can't do it themselves. You need a team around them. You need hard-nosed players. I thought they looked good in the playoffs last year, but their defense needs work. Campbell is not it. So, like, how do you feel about them? Like, I don't want to say they're wasting his prime, but like he's 25.
Oh, they are.
He's 25. No, he's not even 25. He's 26.
They are. 97. He turns 26 next
this January. I'm pretty sure.
This January. Yeah. It's just kind of frustrating because, like, with the talent that we have around Draisaitl and McDavid, like year after year, is just not enough. No matter how much they try and retool it. Obviously, there's the guys like around them, like Hyman, Kane, who's on LTIR, Nuge. But even then, like it all, like the forward depth, I have no issues with the forward depth. It's the defense that needs issues, and every single year that begins to be the bane of our existence.
My thing last year, especially, was like they went out. Was Tyson Berry's first year with the Oilers last year?
No, it was the COVID season.
The COVID,
56
okay.
games.
So they went out and got him, and I think CC last
Extended
year.
them both, by the way.
Yeah, they extended them both. But that's my thing. Like, you can grab those two guys and think they'll be assets for you for that year, and then go, okay, next summer we're going to upgrade. But instead of doing that, they were like, we're just going to bring these guys back. Like, I don't even watch the team that much. You can just look at those two players, especially those two, and be like, our defense is not good enough. Like, this is not good enough. Like what do you do?
The defense... The problem with the defense is that we ask way too much of them in situations that they're clearly not able to handle. Like Darnell Nurse is the top left-hand defenseman or left side defenseman. He'd be great as like a middle pair guy. That's his calling, but it was just Holland's lack of awareness to get like somebody better. It just kind of screwed them in the long run. Same with also losing guys like Larson and Klefbom. Because if Klefbom doesn't have like the arthritis, Larson stays. And there's just a whole whack of other issues that kind of don't happen because I think Ethan Bear stays. Even like Nurse and Bear, that was one of the best pairings, like the left and right side that the Oilers have had in quite some time. And for some reason, that pair wasn't prevalent in the COVID Canadian division year.
And obviously, like, shit happens. Like, injuries are going to happen. You lose Klefbom. Like, obviously, he's a huge part of the team, whatever, right? But that's what like the summer and free agency is for too. Like you can draft a guy if you know you have somebody coming up, that's cool. But they didn't like address that at all. They went to go get a goalie, which like technically you did need, but because you don't know what you have in Skinner, I guess at that point, right?
Yeah. But that's another one of my issues too is not seeing what you have and just running with like Smith and Koskinen because there's a while back there where. I think it was October and the first bit of November where Smith was hurt and he also was on LTIR. And for some reason, Tippett just kept running Mikko Koskinen into the ground and Skinner didn't really start that much. Like he got relief appearances when I went to the game here in Winnipeg. Skinner started the third, but it's just not enough exposure to see what you have. And that's why Holland's like, let's go get a starter just to please the fans. Yeah. Instead of running Skinner and Koskinen as like a 1A, 1B, and in the summer going, okay, we know what we have in Skinner. We don't really need a bigger name. Let's go after a guy like Reimer or Jake Allen.
Yeah, I agree with. I think I said that a couple episodes. I'm like, why would you not get a stopgap guy? You know, why would you hand a guy half a decade worth of a contract and then give him $5 million per? You have a guy like Stuart Skinner who's young. You know, he hasn't proven that he can be an NHL guy, but he's proven enough that he can be, you know, at the least a 30-game guy, I think, at that point. And then you get a guy who could, you know, who's been through it. I think Jake Allen is a good example. James Reimer, also a good example. Older, you know, a veteran guy can provide some leadership to a guy like Skinner and could be a guy for 2 years, maybe. You can just be the stopgap. It's like how the Habs keep extending Jake Allen until they have a new guy when they're good. You know what I mean?
It's a great idea for the Habs.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And another thing with the Oilers is like you said, Matt, when you think of their defense like 2-3 years ago, obviously the Klefbom injury is just, you know, it's just not good for both sides. You know, what can you do when that happens? But, you know, you list out the names, Adam Larson, Ethan Bear, Darnell Nurse, Oscar Klefbom. That's a formidable top four, I think, against any team in the league. Of course, Darnell Nurse, like you said, isn't that number one guy. He's getting paid number one money. He makes a lot of money. I think he's in the upper echelon of defensemen in the NHL. And when you say he's like a middle pair guy, obviously it's not a good look. But I don't know how warranted this is, but I do remember reading an article that the Oilers were actually scared that the Leafs were going to sign Nurse for like a lot of money to get McDavid on the team, which I don't know how real that is, but apparently it's from like a legitimate. I saw it on Twitter like a few months ago, which is interesting. Although I think that's just Ken Holland being
that's letting the intrusive thoughts win. That's what that is.
Yeah, and I also think that's just Ken Holland being like, oh, he's our number one guy. It's like how Seth Jones got paid a lot of money because like plays big minutes, therefore good, even though those things don't correlate at all. He's not the same. You could Ben Sherrod played like 20 minutes a night. That guy's not good. But yeah, I just think, and as a hockey fan, I'm sorry, like as a Leafs fan, I don't care how good the Oilers do. Obviously, like I really don't care. But as a hockey fan, like of course you want McDavid and Draisaitl to succeed. It's good for the sport. The only problem with like McDavid is he's a goddamn robot with like literally no personality, which is bad for the league inherently. Because when your best player, it's like imagine if LeBron just like gave one word answers all the time, it'd be boring. So that's me with the Oilers.
But instead he lies.
Yeah, he lies. And
every superstar the NHL has had, like top guys, been like that though. Like Sidney Crosby, right? Same type of robot. Even Gretzky.
Yeah, but they don't really want to get like reprimanded for being like the anti-hero, because I can't really remember like many anti-hero, like Jeremy Roenick, like he was outspoken in the media. So I think guys are just kind of scared of showing personality because they don't want the team going, hey, we need you to tone it down a little there, pal. Yeah, because the NHL is just old school and it's a dinosaur culture.
But I think but to what Matt was saying too, like, and Nick, it's frustrating as a hockey fan to be like, you want a guy like McDavid and the team he's on to be touching like conference finals every year, like just pushing for that cup every year because he's that good. Like you just want to see him do that. You don't want to see a guy like well, maybe the Oilers will make the playoffs this year. Like no, you got the best player of all time on your team.
That's like saying like the Pippen and Jordan era Bulls. Like, hopefully they make the playoffs this year.
It's crazy. That team was sleeping through the regular season because they're like, well, we're gonna make the playoffs, and then when we do, we're just gonna smack everyone around and win another.
That reminds me of Tampa Bay last year in the regular season.
Exactly. They didn't give a shit. Like they almost lost to the Leafs, but come on, it's the Leafs. They're gonna find a way to lose. But
it's interesting. Matt, what do you think the next week is going to look like for the Oilers? Who do they play in? How do you see the outlook?
Tonight they play, like I said, St. Louis at home, and then let's just wait for my app. Friday it's Anaheim, so
should win that one.
You never know. It's the Oilers, and then next Monday, back in Nashville, where the mayor of Nashville, Leon Draisaitl, gets to preside over his people. Dallas next Wednesday, and then I do believe Vancouver next Friday as they go into the Christmas break. So, I mean, it's not the worst batch of teams. The only one that could really give Edmonton a fit is Dallas, because just like them in Minnesota, they play a very boring style that knows how to trap the Oilers.
Yep. So, that being said,
I have a fun little trivia thing before we move on, because Matt mentioned the Ducks. So the Anaheim Ducks this year are very bad, and I think this is a nice segue into our next topic too. They're really bad this year. I don't know if you guys know this. They have one regulation win all year so far.
Yep.
Do you know who it's against? Do you know who it's against? That's my question, Nick.
Do I know who it's against?
Yes.
I have no idea. I'm gonna say Arizona.
Matt?
The Carolina?
Incorrect. Do you guys want to go one more time?
Who could? Boston.
No.
Florida.
It is against the New York Rangers.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I remember that now.
Ryan Strom's revenge tour.
Dude, Ryan Strome is having a tough year, man. I was looking at his like stats and his metrics yesterday or the other day.
Yeah.
But he said they're all having a tough year. But Anaheim Ducks are very bad. The Leafs fucking crushed them, as we said earlier in the show. But yeah, man, they obviously want Connor Bedard. or Mitch Cobb whenever Mitch Cobb decides to come to the
Or
NHL.
Fantilli.
Or Fantilli.
Yeah.
Whenever those guys, but they're gonna get one of them. I hope they friggin' need it. But honestly, Ducks fans, the Leafs were in your position at one point in time, in the Babcock year, and we got Matthews. It was fun for me as a Leafs fan during that time. It was fun to get attached to like players that were like gonna be there for 1 year. Like the PA Parental 20-goal watch was just funny to like keep up with. Mike Santorelli was a player there. David Booth was on that team. They had a lot of random dudes. That was a lot of fun.
Daniel Winnick.
Dan Winnick, yep. Just Dan Winnick got traded for a second-round pick, I think. So
I don't think it was. It might have been. That's crazy.
I think it was.
It was high. It was high. It was like third or fourth.
I don't know if you guys can look it up, but it was Daniel Winnick. We traded him to Washington, and I think it was for like Zach Sill, Connor Carrick, and a draft pick. Nick Spalling, we got in the Phil Kessel trade, and then we sent him with Roman Polak or James Reimer to San Jose for like 2 seconds or something. If I can remember that correctly. But yeah, man.
If I could just add something, everyone feels bad for the Ducks, and I don't. The only one I feel bad for is John Gibson. Somebody get that man out of Anaheim.
Dude, I felt bad for him against the Leafs. Like, he just looked exhausted, just tired. Like, sometimes you can see it in goalies where they're like getting exhausted. I remember I was talking to my dad. I'm like, there was a power play where like John Gibson, like he wasn't even going in the butterfly to make a save. He was just so tired. Like, and like I was like, Dad, I don't know if he's gonna be back for after the commercial here. And then wouldn't you know it, Lucas Dahl still is in the net. But yeah, it's brutal. I mean, you can be excited for guys like they got Trevor Zegras, Troy Terry, Mason McTavish, Jamie Drysdale's not playing, but
Zellweger.
Yeah. Don't they have I forget his name. But they had a lot of
they had that Russian kid from Barrie. I'm fairly certain. Mintyukov, was that his name?
I don't know. Who did?
Barrie.
I thought it was pass to Jov or whatever.
That's what it is.
Oh, from Sarnia's thing.
Sasha Pastujov?
Yeah.
And didn't they also draft what's this guy's name?
Oh, Mintyukov. Yeah, it's Mintyukov from Saginaw. I can't believe I got that right, gentlemen. I'm awful with Russian names. But yeah, 2022, the 10th overall selection. Yeah, they have Mintyukov from Saginaw. I don't know why I said Barrie.
No, it's fine. You're good. But yeah, they have a lot of guys coming up.
I was doing some background research on the Daniel Winnick trade since we were talking about it. So the Leafs got Washington's second-round pick that year in exchange for Connor Carrick, Brooks Lake, Daniel Winnick, and a fifth-round pick, which is kind of a lot.
Wait. Can you say that again?
Sorry. I'm mistaken. I said that wrong. So they got the second-round pick, Connor Carrick, and Brooks Lake in return for Daniel Winnick and a fifth-round pick. Okay.
So did I low-key nail that?
Yes.
Right? Low-key,
yes.
I nailed that.
Now I went in and I looked at that draft year because it was the 16 draft second-round pick. The Leafs used that draft pick to select Igor Korshkov, who played one game and scored one goal against Buffalo.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
No, that was the 31st overall pick, bruh.
Yeah, Washington's.
How would Washington have had 31st overall, bruh?
What would they have had then?
Because I remember...
The first pick of round 2?
It might have been Carl Grunstrom then. That would make more sense.
Would make more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Korshkov was like... Korshkov, because they had the first and 31st, because they got Matthews that year. And then everyone was like, hey, why don't you guys take the break out? And they were like, no. So, go Leafs, go, fellas. I do want to mention this, because we did get some breaking news on the show. Trevor Moore, former Leaf, just got an extension with LA. Pretty lucrative deal too. 5 years, $4 million average. So honestly,
wow.
Good for him. I think he's on pace for like 50, 60 points this year. So I don't mind that. Good guy. He really worked his way up from
Good player.
Good guy, good player. And
might I add, the Kings bit of a boring team this year. As soon as they get a lead, they go into that 1-3-1 trap. It's like nobody wants to watch this.
I mean,
come on, McClellan.
They have to do that because Jonathan Quick can't make any saves.
And then, sorry, continue.
Yeah, just good for Trevor Moore. Not really much to say on that, but we are going to get into the Flyers. quickly. So recently, I just thought this was pretty funny. So they called up Cam York after they sent him down, which was surprising, I think, to a lot of people that Cam York didn't make the team. And then they scratched Tony DeAngelo, who, if I'm not mistaken, was traded for multiple draft picks. I think it was a second, a third, and a fourth.
Something
it was
stupid like that.
It was let's see. It was a fourth round pick, third round pick, and a second round pick for Tony DeAngelo, and he said it was a dream come true for him. And now he was scratched for Cam York, which I just think is funny. So I'm just gonna go around the table here. Matt, is Chuck Fletcher a good GM?
Absolutely not. He's so bad that he makes Ken Holland look like a genius.
Darius.
Jesus. The Flyers are in their Leafs mid-2000s era. They are going to have a lot of struggles for a long time until they completely clean house up top and start over. Tony DeAngelo is scratched for a guy who should be playing that spot anyway.
Can I ask you guys something?
Yeah, sure.
How bad do you have to be to get scratched over Rasmus Ristolainen?
I don't think
like
it was
that.
It depends what team you're talking about, because
No,
we're talking about
here.
the Flyers here.
Listen. I don't think it was a skill thing. It was a role thing. Because Tony DeAngelo and Cam York will play the same role. Look. I'm not telling you guys it was smart, okay? But
But you're just trying to justify it here somehow, some way.
Yeah. No, because I think they scratched Tony DeAngelo because Cam York is Tony DeAngelo is what they want Cam York to be, essentially just an offensive dynamo, can quarterback the power play.
You guys have no chance. You don't have to big brain it. Just
I know.
Ice your best lineup.
Oh yeah, whatever
Just
that
play,
is.
guys. Just play,
Okay,
guys. You're
okay.
already lost. You're
Okay,
not making the
ice your not worst lineup there.
playoffs.
And that's very hard to do. Oh, by the way, first line center, Noah Cates. That's just how the Flyers are doing this year.
Who?
But yeah.
But Tony. Okay, the Flyers are.
Yeah, like
What a
going down
disaster.
the middle. You had Noah Cates, Morgan Frost, Scott Laughton, and insert name here, Patrick
Is
Brown,
Kevin Hayes
whoever that
injured?
is. No, he's the first line left wing.
He's a winger now.
Oh my god.
Because they're top six. They're top six. Hayes, Noah Cates, TK, Travis Konechny, and then the second line you have JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, Morgan Frost, and Owen Tippett.
Where's Joel Farabee playing?
A third line with Lucas Sedlak and Scott Laughton.
They suck. Okay.
And then
Wow.
their fourth line. Oh my God, their fourth line.
Zach McEwen?
Yeah.
Nick
Delorier?
Nick Delorier, Patrick Brown, and Zach McEwen. Who's Patrick Brown, you ask? I don't know.
I don't know.
He was on Vegas at one point. I can tell you guys that much.
Everybody was on Vegas.
I was thinking coming into this year, like some bright spots would be like if
Nope.
they got
Nope.
some
Nope.
decent goaltending
Nope.
again.
They do.
That's what I mean. But like they're getting it, and I thought coming into the year, like if they get that, it would be a bright spot. I was thinking if they could get Couturier back, that'd be great. Hasn't happened, not to their own fault, but that's injuries. I was thinking like Tippett is getting a chance now. That's a guy who can score you goals.
That's a guy
right?
who can skate too. Like some people would say.
Yes.
Some people would say they want to skate like him.
Fantastic
That's right.
skater. Yeah.
Fantastic skater. He can move the puck. He can score, but nobody's getting him the puck. Like I was watching, especially when they're playing the Leafs. Like this guy's in the forecheck by himself. Like I don't know. That's a guy you need to get the puck to. But anyway, they're not.
He's a
very
guy who
good.
he's a guy who needs to ride shotgun with a really good center, which is fine.
Which is
Like-
fine because they'll score a bunch of goals. Right? But they don't have that.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot. There's no roles. They have like
No.
players and then fighters. Like their fourth
No,
line.
but good thing they signed Nick Delorier for 4 years. I think he leads the league in hits this year. Good for him.
That's cool, man.
Like, is that one of the worst like lines in NHL history? Like
No, there's
Nick
worse.
Delorier, Patrick Brown, and Zach McEwen? No.
No.
I mean,
No. I can tell you one off the top of my head, actually. Colton Orr, I think it was Mike Brown, and Fraser McLaren. That's the
McLaren.
worst line ever.
Colin Orr, who was Mark Frazier and Frazier McLaren.
They used to, in the playoffs that year, that first year the Leafs made the playoffs against Boston, I swear they iced a lineup. They iced like a line combo at one point of Mark Fraser, Cody Franzen, which like,
Isn't he a
what are they
defenseman?
doing out there together? Sorry?
Isn't he a defenseman?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on forward they had Colton Orr, Fraser McLaren. Search up Fraser McLaren, by the way. And I think what was his name? Jay McClement.
Dude, do you guys remember when Colton Orr played 82 games and had 0 points?
And he just fought guys.
That's almost impressive.
I feel like
Yeah, like what was his average time on ice like per game? It was
Let's find out.
I remember watching, like, when I was younger, like in my pastime, I would just like leave Leafs TV on, like I would just have it on, and like they had like these like player cards that would like flash across the screen, and he'd be like Phil Kessel, 70 games played, 25 goals, 50 assists or whatever.
Yeah.
Which probably didn't happen, but then it would like Colton Orr would show up, and I'd be like, 82 games played, 0 goals, 0, like, what was this? What was he doing? What was he doing?
I have his average time on ice per season, by the way.
per season.
Per season.
Okay.
First of all, his career average time on ice was 6 minutes, which is like,
Oh my God.
come on.
He was out there. He was out there for a skate.
He was out there for a little bit of cardio.
Literally.
He didn't even get a full cardio session in.
Hold
He got
on,
at least 10 minutes.
Darius.
Yes.
Okay, I want this might, I don't know if you can do this. We'll move to the next segment while you calculate this.
Okay.
Calculate, so take his season average time on ice,
Yeah.
multiply it by how many games played he had, and then I want to see if his time on ice was smaller than his penalty minutes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah.
Stats that exist but do not matter.
All right, while Darius does that,
Go ahead.
we'll move on to our next segment. I'll intro this real quick. So, the NBA recently announced that they renamed all their trophies to historical players that played in the league, obviously. So, you had obviously the MVP trophy is now called the Michael Jordan Trophy. You had the Defensive Player of the Year trophy, now called the Hakeem Olajuwon Trophy. Rookie of the Year, Will Chamberlain. Sixth Man of the Year, John Havlicek. Most Improved Player went to George Mikan. And they added a new trophy called the Clutch Player of the Year Award, which is named after Jerry West. So, obviously, because we're a hockey podcast, while Darius does a little bit of math here, we decided we're going to take some of the major trophies in the NHL and give them a little rebrand because a lot of the names are just a lot of, like, for example, Conn Smythe, not the greatest guy ever. You can read about that on your own time. But we're going to do, we have a couple trophies lined up here. And we're going to give our best takes. We're not going to say they have to be retired yet. We'll just say like any player currently that they should be named after. So, first we'll go to Matt. The Art Ross Trophy. Who do you think the Art Ross Trophy should be named after?
See, I feel like for like most of them, like the leading scorer,
Gretzky.
like MVP, the player's choice, like most outstanding players voted by the players, like most of them are Gretzky. But for leading scorer, I think that one, like the Mario Lemieux trophy, because I think one of them has to go after Lemieux, and let's give the leading scorer to Lemieux, and then like the MVP, like the Hart. We'll get to that later, but you'll know my answer for that one. So yeah, the Art Ross trophy for leading scorer is now the Mario Lemieux trophy.
I am not gonna disagree with that. I will also say the Art Ross Trophy is now the Mario Lemieux Trophy. Darius, do you have any difference in opinion?
For the sake of being different, I suppose I could go and call it the Wayne Gretzky Trophy. But I think there is an argument as well to call it the Jaromir Jagr Trophy. Because he did win it. I mean, the 90s was his trophy. So,
yep.
I think there's an
That's not a bad pick, though.
There's an argument
Jagr
for it.
Trophy?
I mean, Gretzky won it 10 times, which is... Yo. But I think... and then there's Lemieux and it's Jagr third. 6 and 5 times, respectively. So... I mean, he's right in there. I think it would be, it'd be cool if it was Jaromir Jagr Trophy. It's also a fun name to say, so why not?
Yes. Darius, any update on that math?
Yes. So what were the numbers you wanted exactly? I did some math here, but what did you want to see?
I want to know if he spent more time in the penalty box than he did on ice.
Okay, so I have to take his. So I took his time on ice and times it by his. Games played. Correct.
Yep.
And then divided by penalty minutes?
No. You just need the two numbers. Like, which one's higher, which one's lower.
Oh, he spent more time on the ice.
Then in the penalty. Is there...
Wow.
That's kind of
different.
In the 2013-14 season, he did spend more time on ice than in the box. But it was also his least amount of penalty minutes in a season.
Okay, how
But I
close
just
was it? What are the numbers?
282 and 155. Yeah.
That's okay.
We are playing averages too, right? So
Yeah, I feel like if you were to take like his career, like it might be a little different.
I could also do that. I can tell you just looking at it, it's not close. He spent way more time over his career in the penalty box than on the ice. Okay? Just looking at that number, there's absolutely not a chance. I can get you the number, but there's no way.
Okay. All right, guys.
Move on to the next one. We'll come back to this.
Move on to the next trophy. The Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy for perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication. Matt, I'll go back to you. Who do you think this should be renamed to, if anyone?
It's one of those trophies where I'm indifferent about the name. Bill Masterton. He was the only. No, that was Bill Goldsworthy. He's the one who died. Bill Masterton. I don't know. I don't feel indifferent. I got my Bills mixed up here, fellas.
Nice job, Paul Romanuk.
Yeah. I don't really feel like there has to be like a name change to that one. Like that's one of the few trophies that like sure keep the name.
Yeah.
So I'll be boring and say yeah, it doesn't need a name change. I
also don't care. I don't even think we should have this on the list, but I think someone was pretty adamant about it. Darius, what do you think we should rename it to?
Maybe the Mario Lemieux trophy. I know you guys already changed it, the Art Ross to Mario Lemieux for you guys, but I would put it maybe Mario Lemieux. Mostly for perseverance, obviously.
Or even, okay, all right, perseverance. I'm going to go like the Bobby Orr trophy.
That's a good
that
one
guy that guy went through like so many like injuries throughout his career and came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. And then the Calder Memorial Trophy. For my Masterton, I also wouldn't change it. But for the Calder Memorial Trophy, I'll give my pick. It's Teemu Selanne.
Yeah, Selanne was mine as well.
I think you can't go wrong with Teemu Selanne. Most goals, electrifying. So.
And then next up is the Conn Smythe Trophy, MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs. This one should be changed anyway. But
yeah, literally.
Matt, who do you think should win this one? I think it's interesting.
I'm gonna give it to the only person who's won it 3 times, and that would be Mr. Patrick Waugh.
That's not a bad shout.
That is it, yeah. I was gonna go with a goalie too, Martin Brodeur. But that's a very interesting choice, Matt. I mean, not interesting in the fact that he's won it the most times, but I don't think most people would think of Patrick Waugh. That's a good one.
I don't even know. I almost said Justin Williams. We're not going to name a trophy after him, even though he's like Mr. Game 7.
No, that is a good one though.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
I would say Justin Williams just because like his whole mantra is like he's really sick in the playoffs. And also like my hockey history knowledge is not as well versed as your guys because number one, you're older than me, and number two, this guy Matt's like an encyclopedia when it comes to weird things like that. Which
very true.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's actually pretty interesting. But I guess I'll say Justin Williams. Darius?
Is this a Conn Smythe one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I said Marty Brodeur.
Oh, right, you did.
Yes.
I'm tripping. My bad. Frank J. Selke, Patrice Bergeron award.
Yeah.
Bergeron.
Come on. It should be
the
like as soon as he
Guy
retires.
Carbonneau trophy.
Wait.
As soon as he retires, it should be named the Patrice Bergeron trophy. ASAP.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close either. That's the thing.
Who was that? I forget his name. Who was that guy who was the GM of the Stars and also played for the Habs?
Bob Gainey.
Bob Gainey. Name it the Bob Gainey Trophy. But Hart Trophy. Gretzky.
The Gretzky. Yeah.
Gretzky. There could be argument when he retires, Connor McDavid, but that's down the road because I think he's gonna end up having a lot of these.
But the problem is now, the way the league works is voters fatigue. I feel like back then there wasn't as much voters fatigue, so Gretzky could win it every year and no one cared. But now, like the way like media works and like social media and all that stuff, you can't just hand it to the same guy every year because people will be like, "Oh, he always wins it," even though he should.
He's gonna win it again this year, though. He saw Matthews won it last year, and he's like, "Guess what? I'm gonna win the Rocket this year too."
It's either him or Jason Robertson's award, I think. So,
it's true.
Like, could you imagine voters fatigue in the 80s? Like, congrats, like Peter Stastny, you win the Hart.
Even though Gretzky has like
Yeah.
fucking 50 more points than everyone, it's just like, what are you gonna do? Okay, Jack Adams Award, guys. Who do you think this could be renamed to?
To the Scotty Bowman Award.
That was also my pick, but you could also go with the Mike Babcock Award.
The Joel Quenneville Award.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, just being sarcastic.
Yep.
But yeah, Matt has the right idea. I mean, you can't go wrong. So
Scotty Bowman's a good shout.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I was also gonna say like like Pat Quinn Award would also be cool.
that'd be
But
really
that's
cool,
more-
actually.
Yeah.
Underrated coach. I mean, not,
Quinn
but
Award
like
would be
a lot of
cool.
people don't think of him when thinking
Yeah.
about the greatest coaches. So
James Norris Memorial Trophy Award to the top defenseman. I think there's only two options here. I'm gonna say the Bobby Orr Trophy.
I know who Matt's gonna pick, and it's gonna be the same as me, and I hate it. Go ahead.
You know what? It's gonna be obvious here. Nick Lidstrom, the Nick
Yeah.
Lidstrom Trophy. Yep.
I think he's like a lot of older people will be like, oh, it's definitely Bobby Orr is the best defenseman of all time. Like if you watch Nick Lidstrom highlights,
That Tyson Berry Award.
Cody Ceci Award
sorry. Continue.
for trying. No,
Guy who tries the
Lidstrom's-
hardest.
Nick Lidstrom's one of the greatest defensemen of all time.
Like
He's
for me,
close,
he's
man.
the best defenseman of all time.
Yeah, like he's got it. He's right up there. He's like he's so stupid good.
No, it's fair. I agree with you guys. But like I said at the beginning, it's between two guys, Bobby Orr and Nick Lindstrom, and I think you can't go wrong with either. So the Jim Gregory General Manager of the Year award. I had someone in mind who we could change it to, but I don't think you can do it anymore just because of the stuff that happened with the Blackhawks.
Interesting. Yes.
Matt, who would you say is who should be renamed, be honored?
The lady, or not the lady, or the Lady Bing or the GM.
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 Oh, GM. Okay, no, sorry, I was looking at the Lady Bing. GM. This might be stretching it a bit, but for like the mid '70s, like the Montreal Canadiens, Sam Pollock. I'm gonna go Sam Pollock here because he constructed that team brilliantly, and like he kept that core for like a decade plus.
Interesting.
that's fair.
Interesting. Bias. I'm gonna go with Pat Quinn. Or alternatively, when it's all said and done, maybe Stevie Y. He's a pretty good GM. So
Just-
Except for
Joe
that
Sakic.
with the Ben Sherratt deal. I mean,
yeah, kind of.
come on, Stevie.
I have a couple guys lined up for this trophy. Number one, the Chuck Fletcher Award. You gotta think he could win that. Number two,
that would be the worst GM of the year.
number two, the Raspberry. Number two is who was his name leaves me right now. Jim Benning Award.
Oh my
Also
god.
could be a good shout.
No, who's the
And
guy
then-
before him? In Vancouver. I can't remember.
Mike something.
Gillis.
Mike Gillis?
Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Gillis.
Took
Mike
like 500
Gillis.
years to make a trade.
And I think the guy who should actually be named is the Dave Nonis Award. So
Oh,
with that being said, you could also just give it to whoever was the GM of those Oilers teams or those Islanders teams or those Habs teams. Just
Glenn
pick one of them.
Sather.
Yeah.
And then I think for the Islanders it was like Bill Torrey.
Yeah, just pick one of them. Next up, our fourth last one, Lady Bing Memorial Trophy, sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct on the ice. So for my pick, the Tom Wilson Memorial Trophy, I think is fair for this.
The Tom Wilson Memorial
Memorial
Trophy.
Joe, my bad. The Tom Wilson.
No,
Trophy,
no, what do you mean by that?
Tom Wilson Trophy. Very gentlemanly on the ice. Matt, what do you think?
Of your choice, or what's my pick?
No. What's your pick?
Pavel Datsuk.
Ooh, that's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Good
That's pretty cool.
choice. Good choice. I was gonna say Sidney Crosby, but obviously in his younger years he was probably like the opposite. But I think like in his later years, especially after the last two Stanley Cups, maybe Sidney Crosby.
Who's just like a noted good dude.
Nice guy.
You know what I mean?
Nice
Kessel.
guy.
Yeah. Kessel.
Kessel. Yeah. Yeah.
A Kessel
Yeah.
trophy would be so
And like
funny.
the trophy is like a hot dog. It's like a gold hot dog.
I like
It's like
that.
the Willie O'Ree trophy. You know how that one's like a hat on top of like a trophy?
that was actually cool though.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It's like one of the best like design trophies.
They should make a trophy for just like the player who just doesn't give a shit the most, and Kessel would just win it every year.
The floater award.
That's good.
And now, I wonder who you guys are gonna pick for this one. The Rocket Richard Trophy being renamed to Matt.
See, it's another one of those trophies that I feel like
Doesn't
it's
need
like
to be touched.
doesn't because he was like he's like the first like prolific goal scorer in the NHL. Like obviously like the Alexander Ovechkin trophy, but his politics kind of not the best. So I'm gonna keep it the Rocket Richard Trophy.
Yeah, I would say it's also fine the way it is, but if it were to be changed, Ovechkin Trophy, Darius.
If it were to be changed, it would be the Grade 8 trophy. But I think the name is just so cool that it shouldn't ever be changed. It's the Rocket, you know?
Yeah,
Like, that's
Like
cool as
like
shit.
he's in they're in the race for the Ovi. It's like that doesn't
It's
have
weird,
the ring
yeah.
to it.
But he's in the race for the Rocket, you know? Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool
actually
as
cool.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
works.
I don't know if they ever will, and they probably shouldn't.
All right. Our second last one here. This one's interesting to me because you have the Hart Trophy and the Ted Lindsay Trophy, which are very similar.
Same.
But who do we think should be named after the Ted Lindsay Award?
Huh.
See, yeah, it's one of those ones where like we've already named trophies after like Lemieux and Gretzky, but I haven't. He's only won it once, but I feel like he was that good of a player. Wait, no, it was Bobby Orr for the what was it the
Norris?
Norris,
for
Bobby
the
Orr.
no I had Lidstrom for the Norris, but it was Bobby Orr for
The Perseverance Trophy.
the Perseverance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I can't use him for that one. Yeah, I don't know for the Ted Lindsay.
I don't know if he's won it too much, but I'd just say give Gordie Howe a trophy. You know,
Yeah,
sure.
Gordy.
Just
Gordy.
give him a trophy.
Even though it was like, I think it was like 1970 or 71 that it was first introduced.
Yeah. I'm going with
But,
Bobby
like,
Orr for this one, personally. Just because I haven't used him yet, and I think most guys who played with him or in that era, ish or even after, were like, yeah, Bobby Orr is the greatest. So
Word. That's fair.
if that's what it's
All right.
about, then that's what it's about.
And for our last trophy here, the Vezina Trophy. I feel like this is like 3 guys you could pick.
And it's only 3 guys.
Yeah. And I'm gonna pick Dominic Hasek.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Good
I was
one.
gonna go Hasek too, but I don't think I had my Ted Lindsay. I'm gonna the Sidney Crosby Award there, and then for the Vezina, the Dominic Hasek Award.
Dominic Hasek Award.
Hasek's a good one. I already used Brodeur. I was even thinking the Johnny Bauer Award, but I don't know. Like he's
You can even do like the Terry Sacha Award.
yeah. Like or the
Or the
Terry
Ken
Sawchuk.
Dryden Award, and then
Ken
just have the
Dryden
trophy
even?
be him doing like the pose. That'd be cool.
That would be really cool, actually. That was really cool. We used to do that pose in like hockey practice all the time because we're just like, oh look, we're the old guy. But
Do that pose in mini sticks.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool. They even had the McDonald's. Like I don't know if you remember the McDonald's sticks.
Yeah.
And it was him posing like that. Those were cool. But yeah, I would go with Johnny Bauer. Bias,
No, I
I
don't
mean,
mind that.
that's an outside the box answer.
definitely. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's-
but I think it's
yeah.
cool. I think it would be cool.
No, I don't think that's a terrible answer at all. So, with that being said, we are going to wrap the show there. We do have our last question, which is not, for some reason, we wrote, was the great care? That's not going to be our wrap question on the document that we use. But, no. I got a separate question. Don't worry about it. But I do want to say thank you guys all for listening to the show. As we get closer, as I said last week, as we get closer to the holiday season, I hope you guys are enjoying us. Taking a little, enjoying our personalities. We're just, we have a lot of fun doing this, of course. So, if you like the show, drop a like on YouTube, subscribe if you like.
5 stars on Spotify.
5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Music, do all that fun stuff. Follow us on TikTok, and shout out my fellow co-host Matt, pays for the premium Zoom account for us, and Darius produces the show. He does all the behind the scenes stuff for us. So, that being said, our wrap question today is, so let me preface this. Alex Ovechkin just scored his 800th goal. When Alex Ovechkin retires, number 1, is he going to beat Gretzky's record? Number 2, how many goals will he have when he retires?
Oof.
I feel like there's some math that has to go into this one.
I have an easy answer if I can go first.
Sure.
Yeah, go.
Yes, he will. and he will score 6 more goals, get to 900, and just be like, F it, I'm out. And just leave.
Yeah.
It could be like November of whatever season. And you just be like, I'm
good. Or
I
like,
think he gets to 900. And, well, we'll see how he is like at that point. But I think he definitely breaks the record. Depending where he is in his career, he either calls it quits after 900 or he can go again for, I don't know, 910, 920. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Matt?
Yes, he'll break it. And then I feel like Ovi's one of those guys where like he'll get to 900. He's like, no, I want 8 more. And then he'll get to 908 and then that'll be it.
That'd be cool if he ended at 908.
I think Obi will get 2. Literally, when I asked this question, same thing Darius said. He'll beat the record. He'll score 5 more goals after he beats the record. And he'll wrap it up at 900. Be the first player in NHL history to score 900 goals. So with that being said, though, we will wrap it here. If you're listening to this in the day, have a great day. Listen to this tonight. Have a great night. And I've been saying this for weeks. The roads are bad today, especially here in Mississauga. So, hopefully your tires are on. If you're listening to this while you're driving, drive safe. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week on the Gritcast. Peace out.
Thanks for watching and listening to the Gritcast. For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.